Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. JACALYN, KERBECK, and it's my pleasure to welcome you from around the world to our show, The Power of Etiquette and Manners. Joining me is the star of our show. He is the founder and the principal of the British School of Excellence. Let's welcome Mr. Philip Sykes on Fry. Yay!
Boom. I'm Dr. JACALYN. How are you?
I'm great now that I'm seeing you. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. Yeah, you know, underneath all of our lives, I think there are times in our lives where we're like little legs flapping underneath the water. We've got to be sort of swimming along, but as we are here and we are definitely alive and kicking, that's for sure, and we're blessed in that respect. So it's just a lovely opportunity to get together for one of our wonderful shows. And I know a lot of people out there do value what we bring to the party and bring to the table. And as you do every week, all those umpteen dozen shows, the value add is just huge in what you do. So I just would love to give you a virtual hug and say thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Philip. And thanks for all that you do. This is one of our top shows, one of our most watched programs. And the last time we were together, it's hard to believe, it was 3 weeks ago. We had a number of your graduates from the Train the Trainer program. And I just love what you're putting out there into the world. Tell our audience a little bit about the Train the Trainer program. And is this something that is open for people around the world to get involved with?
Absolutely. Our Train the Trainer program, and I'm calling upon all coaches. I'm calling upon anybody who wants to enhance and build their own lives and the lives of others. Here at the British School of Excellence, we deliver coaching and training in the power of etiquette, manners, and emotional intelligence. And for any of you who haven't watched it, please go back to our show on USA Global TV, where Dr. JACALYN and I got into a wonderful conversation about the correlation of etiquette, manners, and emotional intelligence. It is the absolute foundation of life and how we can put our best foot forward. And at the British School of Excellence, we were very much founded on the power of our EQ, developing and building our EQ. But to complement that, we really do focus on the importance of etiquette and manners and how do we show up every single day. And in the Train the Trainer program, we give you these incredible broad strokes in our coaching and training. We give you an amazing foundation and we give you everything that we've learned along the way and more. So you come in to Train the Trainer walking away with almost, give or take, a pre-packed business opportunity. It depends how you want it to unfold. Let me give you an example. We've got beautiful Alla, Ukrainian-born, living in San Diego, in the USA, launched her business a few weeks ago. We've got an amazing lady in India who recently launched a business a few months ago, and she has just put together the most incredible material and launched a program into Nigeria a few weeks ago. Actually last week, she shared it on our alumni platform. We've got the most wonderful lady, Orchids, in Dubai, who has launched the Supper Club, educating children, teenagers, adults, business people through the importance of table manners, through the importance of small talk around the table. So all of you out there, if any of you are looking for something that's wretchedly exciting, incredibly invigorating, inspirational, motivational, and giving people the tools for life, then our Train the Trainer, honestly and truly, is out of the top drawer. And don't take my word for it. Take a look at the USA Global TV platform. Look at the past alumni that have been on the show. Take a look at the British School of Excellence's YouTube channel and look at the testimonials that we have been sent voluntarily by our past students.
And I congratulate you on that. And by the way, I'm following many of your graduates on Instagram. And when I look at the quality of what they're putting out there, when I see their office setup, the dining set, it's incredible what they're doing. It really is at the highest level. So you should be very happy, very proud. And just congratulations to all of the graduates of the Train the Trainer program from the British School of Excellence.
Absolutely, Dr. JACALYN. It really is, and it's an honor. You get to meet them, I get to meet them, we get to work with them. I know you've got many of the past Train the Trainer students on the shows, various shows. Dr. Sadia, all the way in Pakistan, bringing her mindset and her emotional intelligence program, bringing in Dr. Sonia Moladina, who's just the most powerful, wonderful woman based here in London, delivering her incredible material to teenagers, getting them to be able to interview with confidence, getting them to be able to get them into the next schools, presenting from the front of the stage. And it just goes on and on and on. And every time we have a Train the Trainer, we have people who literally come back showing up, and not only that, but saying, you've changed my life. As you you sent me a lovely birthday message on Sunday. It was my birthday on Sunday, and the amount of beautiful messages I got from people all over the world, on Facebook, on our alumni platform, on LinkedIn. I just want to firstly say thank you to all of you, and secondly, the messages were humbling. They really were. And again, just the effect that the organization, the British School of Excellence, has been able to have on so many people around the world, and it's just an absolute privilege.
And you bring up just something that's really in alignment with what you shared about your birthday. So when we reach out to people, whether it's in a professional setting or it's in a personal setting, sometimes there are people who are really affectionate and maybe really lovey-dovey. And I don't know, is there some kind of etiquette about how much affection to share with someone, whether it's through a written medium or if it's in person? What are your thoughts about that? It doesn't have to be about a birthday. It could be really about anything. I mean, I know I've gone to business meetings and somebody starts touching my shoulder, just rubbing your back even, I don't know. What are the rules of engagement?
Well, excellent question. I hope those people that you're familiar with them, because it would be very untoward to sort of engage in physical contact unless you either know the person reasonably well or it's sort of a reciprocal engagement. But cultures kick in here. That's the first thing that springs to mind. And many years ago, I had the privilege of going to Mexico City, with a very dear, he's become a dear friend, Roberto Correal. He's an incredible gentleman who runs Terramondo, which is a wine business. They sell wine into restaurants, into people's homes. And he did our Train the Trainer many years ago. And funny enough, he said to me that his business increased 30% within the first 6 months of him completing Train the Trainer. And he invited me to Mexico to deliver some business excellence programs. This is obviously before COVID. And we also got the opportunity to go into the Televisa studio, which is the largest television station and studios. And an incredible woman interviewed us. But before that, I was in the sort of holding room just before we went live onto the television set. And in came this lovely lady to her area and department of where she works. And the embracing and the kisses on either cheek with her work colleagues was just so affectionate and so infectious as well. You could see this rapport in that team. Now, that is not something that you would experience, let's say, for example, in an organization here in the United Kingdom. Having said that, depends what type of industry it is, but with all due respect, you wouldn't see that in a legal capacity or a banking capacity or anything like that whatsoever. You would never see a CEO, no matter how well he might know someone in the organization outside of work, as in a family friend, engaging in a sort of a warm hug and a kiss without sort of thinking things through. So it's really, really sensitive, Dr. JACALYN, on the do's and don'ts. Now, having said that, when it comes to people who love and have affection for one another, you know, I've got dear male friends, dear male friends, and the first thing we do is embrace and a beautiful hug, and sometimes even a lovely kiss on the cheek. And some people might look at that, what's going on here? I just think it's so wonderful. And you know, the beautiful thing about a hug is, Dr. JACALYN, when you give one, you usually get one back.
I love that. That's that's so important. Do you think it's an additional step of advisement to ask, may I give you a hug? Would you like a hug? Do you need a hug?
Yeah, I've had that often. You know, some people say, I'm a really physical person. I love a hug. Would you mind if we had a hug? Absolutely. And you know, one has to appreciate the fact that they are not being presumptuous, because there is nothing worse on the other side of the coin when someone is presumptuous and you think, whoa, hold the phone here. I hardly know you. This could look a bit awkward. This is not professional. And it's very much the same, Dr. JACALYN. You know, if you and I, let's say, are in a professional capacity, we've met on set, we don't really know one another, and we've done a show together for the first time, and then the set manager says, I want to do a photograph of the team, and you come and stand next to me, and I just assumedly just pop my arm around you. That is definitely not good etiquette. I would very much do that in a professional capacity. I'd stand there with my presenter's pose. I might stand there, you know, with my arms by my side, but I wouldn't assume that I could put my arm around you. And if that did happen, all I would do in your capacity is just move slightly forward or turn to me and say, look, this is a professional picture. We just need to look very professional. And that's a nice way to get out of an awkward situation.
I'm so glad that you brought that up. So I already know the answer, but for anybody out there who's witnessed this or done it themselves, what about where it's not the arm over, but it's the arm around the waist in a professional capacity?
You know, I just say, look, this is not the time or place for an arm around the waist. This is a professional picture. This is going to go out on social media, and we just don't. You know, people have crazy thoughts and ideas, and they jump to crazy conclusions. So, you know, everything needs to be brought into light and into case by case scenarios. You know, if you and I know each other and we had a friend's party, we say, hey, let's have a pic together, and we both embrace and that sort of thing, that's a different ballgame. But you know, and the fact that we know each other. But if one doesn't know each other, don't assume that you can just go and, you know, grab someone and have a picture with arms around one another.
Thank you, Philip. Okay, what about this one? It might seem innocent. You go to shake hands and one person is still holding onto your hand, and then they turn your hand and they kiss it.
Firstly, that's very old school. That's very old school. And funny enough, you would never actually kiss the hand. It's almost like an air kiss. You would literally just sort of show that but you keep your lips very few a centimeter away from that individual's hand. I just think that is so. Oh, it makes my skin crawl. It's presumptuous. It's ostentatious. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth when I see people trying to sort of play that sort of game, unless it's in a joking sort of way and someone's got a bit of humor attached to it and they've obviously set the scene. But I would honestly just tell anyone on that note, just boom, park it. Do not go down that route.
Now, does that hand, that movement, whatever it is that ever something that you would see with someone meeting a dignitary or someone of royalty?
No, that is so past. It's so passé. It's really gone. There's no, you know, and I'm going to put a caveat here, unless it could be a cultural thing somewhere in the world, but it's definitely not a cultural thing that I'm aware of on any level. And I hope there's someone out there that might correct us, but I really do not believe that is a thing that's normally done in this day and age.
Okay, thank you. So, you know, I always have more for you. So what about if you are a germaphobe and you really don't want to shake hands, but you meet someone and they put their hand out and then it's just kind of sitting there in space. And then you start to explain yourself. Okay.
Dr. JACALYN, many, it was, I'm trying to think, it was last year. COVID had come to sort of a semi-end, and I had been invited to go and do some wonderful work for the Downton Abbey feature film, the second part. We did one for the first part, we did one for the second part, and it was actually on set where it had been shot, in the opening scenes where the chapel is. For those of you who've seen Downton Abbey, and I did a beautiful experience of dining etiquette to a whole lot of influences. And there was this one lady from Holland, and they came in and I gave them a rundown on the power of etiquette and manners, but specifically focusing, really on dining etiquette and how one should conduct themselves at the table with small talk, and how to sort of give each one a little bit of your precious time. And, the traditional idea of you should always talk to the person on your left during the first course and then to the person on your right on the second course, and how to sort of manage those sort of moments. And at the end, everyone stood up, and I always love to give someone. So with one of my pens and a postcard and a sort of a bookmark ruler, and this Dutch woman came up, and one of the influencers put their hand out to say, "Hello, my name is so-and-so, which country are you from?" to this lady. And she just stood back and she said, "I'm from Holland." And I could see immediately that this is not she was no way, pre-COVID, past COVID, was ever going to shake anyone's hands. She was a germaphobe. Now, in that particular situation, firstly, it's always ladies first. Okay, so if I come to meet you for the first time and you don't extend your hand, I always pause before I approach any female to shake hands. And even with a male, I say, "Hello, my name is Philip." And then if there's a sort of a duo sort of timing when it comes to handshaking, then hopefully you time it correctly. But especially with women, I always pause for those few seconds, because it is a woman's prerogative. It's the same as a social kiss. And so I always wait. Now, if they haven't placed their hand out, I would go either to, I love the hand on heart gesture, or I would even go to the little namaste. "Hello, how are you? A pleasure. My name's Philip. It's very, very, very nice to make your acquaintance," or whatever lingo or introduction you make. So just bear that in mind.
I think they're great points. I wasn't even aware of that. As an extension of that, what if this other person had approached the woman and saw, that she wasn't going to shake hands, and immediately went in for a hug instead?
So firstly, as a female, I would extend the hand immediately, and then just place your left hand onto that person's shoulder very delicately and stop them in their tracks. But that takes practice, and it takes great timing. So you're not shoving someone away and say, "Back off." It's literally almost simultaneously, "How are you, Philip? Lovely to see you." And it just, as I'm coming in for that so-called presumptuous kiss on either cheek or the hug, it stopped me in my tracks, but without that embarrassing me.
Now, is the hand going around the shoulder? Is it just touching the shoulder?
Just onto the shoulder.
Just a touch.
Clasping onto the shoulder, the thumb onto there, and just clasping on the shoulder. Yeah.
Okay. What about, again, with the handshakes? You are at a networking function and you have a drink and you have a napkin with something on it, or you have a plate, and someone comes up. I've seen this so many times. And then they attempt to put both things in one hand, teetering around while they attempt to shake the person's hands. What advice do you have?
Look, ideally a handshake's wonderful, because as human beings, we connect through the handshake. And I don't want to sound disrespectful to any of the audience, or to be a bit, come across as rude. But think about dogs, how they sniff each other's rear ends. They're checking each other out. Human beings, the handshake, this is a very sensitive part of our being. There's a lot of nerve endings in it. And when we do shake hands, believe it or not, a good handshake, firstly, gives off endorphins. It elevates physical touch. And not only that, a good handshake is the equivalent of 3 hours rapport building. So that's really interesting and a phenomenal statistic. But going back to your question, I think in those sort of situations, if you have got a drink in one hand, you've got a plate in the other hand, just say, "I do apologize. I'd love to shake your hand, but as you can see, my hands are full." There's no point trying to juggle and then your wine goes, or your glass of water goes flying. And if there's a table next to you, like you've got those lovely cocktail tables, place your glass down there. You can keep your plate of food in the other hand. "Philip, how do you do?" And then you would reciprocate, "Dr. JACALYN, how do you do?" And then the conversation can flow.
Fantastic. I have another scenario, so thank you. And this has happened to me, and I might have mentioned it before. You are in a public place, church for this example, and at the time, peace be with you, everyone shake hands, and someone does a big sneeze in their hand. You've witnessed it, you've seen it, you're in the row behind, and they turn around. What do you do then?
Find your hygiene spray and offer it to them. I don't know. Dr. Jack, no, I wouldn't shake someone's hand if they've sneezed into their hand. With all due respect, I say, look, bless you. My name's Philip. How are you? And just literally keep my hands at the presenter's pose, or, just keep my hands by my side and just say, nice to make your acquaintance, or whatever that might be. But yeah, I just, it's quite an interesting scenario, because when the swine flu came out many, many, many years ago, no one was interested in shaking anyone's hands. And I know, obviously, with COVID, it's gone, heaven forbid. It doesn't even feel like it even happened. It's almost coming up 4 years since it kicked off, right? Well, almost, yeah, which is quite frightening. Time flies. But yeah, I just feel when it comes to hygiene and those sort of things, as we all know, our hands do touch so many different objects. And just think about how many times we're touching our mobile phones, and where the mobile phone gets placed and put during the course of the day, from being in the loo to, I don't know, being on a dining room table to being on a desk, or being on, the mobile phone, I'm sure, is a very great big carrier of germs as it is. And then on the other side of the coin, and I'm throwing things around here, germs can be good because they build your immune system, but I'm not going to allow the germs from someone's sneeze to help me build my immune system, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing to me because my phone is in a case, so it closes, and I clean it pretty much every day. But I'll go into the gym and people have their phone face down on the floor, and they're lifting weights, and then they pick it up, and I'm crazy about that, but that's just me. So I have one more question when it comes to hugging, and this is something that I experienced myself in the corporate world. It went from you're maybe at a team meeting, or you've got a sales convention, everybody's saying hello, and it used to be, a big close hug. And then it was a hug where the person's slightly sticking their derriere out. Is this proper etiquette?
Well, look, it's more polite than someone sticking their groin into your crutch, unless you both want that to happen. But yeah, look, I just think ever so slightly, I think that definitely shows a sign of respect, and it shows that there's not this over familiarity when that comes to the thing. Because again, as nice as you may be attracted to that person, but you don't want to show it, it's not going to gel well if you come in with a very sort of presumptuous hug and every part of your body's touching. I think one needs to be a little bit cautious on that one. I really do. And especially, not that it should have been, especially in this day and age, but now that things are so fragile, just go with caution. You just don't want anyone to point a finger or say, this person came across as being a little bit over familiar. It's the same adage, and I don't know if this has ever happened to you, Dr. Jack, in the corporate world, where all of a sudden the opposite sex's hand happens to land on your rear end, and you're going, that's a bit untoward, or hey, I quite like that. At the end of the day, that is not professional, and it's not really acceptable.
Here, I agree with you. Someone recently told me, from a mental health wealth perspective, that we need 8 hugs a day.
Yes,
it's kind of a tall order.
Women actually need a minimum of 8 hugs a day predominantly. I'm a big hugger. I love physical. So we talk about love languages. Okay, let's really go off piste here. The love languages, the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. I've got the book right here. We've just done a course in this, or just delivered some material in this incredible, where are you there? In this incredible journey of the 5 love languages. And this is very much to do with our emotional intelligence and our human traits. And with the 5 love languages, we've got acts of service. Okay, so let me get this right. Acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, and gifts. And some people's love language is physical touch. Now, that physical touch doesn't mean, love language doesn't mean jumping into bed with one. No, not at all. It's what fills your love cup. So, for example, Dr. JACALYN, if your love language might be quality time with a dear friend, or a partner, or with a family member, that's your love language. That fills your love cup. But let's say let's say hypothetically, you and I are, okay, let me rephrase it. My wife, Kerry, her big love language is quality time. And when I was doing a huge amount of traveling pre-COVID, I knew that coming back to the UK, if I said, let you and I and Harley, or just you and I, go away for a night or a weekend, or go have a dinner together, that fills her love cup. That's her love, one of her main love languages. Now, is quality time my love language? It's most probably very much part of one of my love languages, but it's not my go-to love language. My go-to love language is physical touch and words of affirmation. So when Kerry gives me a hug or a kiss, or says, I really appreciate what you've done, X, Y, and Z, it fills my love cup up. And so when our love cups are full, then we can connect on a very, very dynamic level. And so going back to your question about hugs, I think a hug for most people is a really wonderful thing, and it does help us with our emotions, and it helps us with our bringing up our adrenaline and lowering our cortisol levels, and it does add huge value to our lives. It's the same as creating beautiful smiles, and it's a known fact that if you walk around a room with a pencil in your mouth, just the action of your lips and your mouth changing shape, it actually has an effect on your mood, and it betters your mood.
I really love what you shared there, and thanks for that personalization of it. I'm thinking, depending on the situation, like for me, I'm single. So if random people start walking up and hugging me, I'm going to find that to be a little strange. But as someone who's married, that could be awkward as well, if people are coming up to hug you. So I'm not sure where the balance is, especially if for mental health we need 8 hugs. I guess we could hug ourselves, right? Does that count as one?
Yeah, maybe hug yourself, or just, there might be a dear friend that you meet for a coffee, maybe not every day, because our time is short, and you've got a lot of things going on. We've all got lots of things going on. But I just feel that if you can find at least a couple of days a week, someone that you enjoy spending time with, and you can have a nice embrace and a hug, and I hope you have a great day, I think that really is a very powerful part of building our mental health, and just giving us that boost that we need, that humanism, that humanization, that physicality is really powerful.
Now, Philip, how long is too long for the hug? That's number one. And number two, what about hugging someone and lifting them off the ground?
Well, you've got to have a good rapport with that person. Maybe it's someone petite, and you just love to give that person a lift and a hug and a lift. And that can show a huge amount of affection and affection as a dear friend. So that can be fun and tongue in cheek. How long's? I think, and you and I have both gone through a lot of challenges recently. I think a long hug, embracing in a moment of sadness, or trying to really comfort someone, that can be quite a prolonged hug. But then, meeting someone, hey, how are you? And a little embrace, and then relax. I'm not a big fan of the hug and the big tap on the back. I find that, are you trying to burp a baby, get a bit of wind out of him? I think that's too sort of hello and a tap on the back. It's too fickle. A genuine hug is something that is so wonderful and warm. And when you give a genuine hug, it elevates us. But don't go around hugging strangers. Go and hug a tree maybe, but don't go hugging strangers or people you don't know, because that is untoward.
Yes, and I agree with you with the tapping on the back. What about the rubbing of the back? If someone's hugging and one hand starts to do this rubbing motion.
Again, how do you know? If you know that person and you feel comfortable, and that's a term of real endearment and affection, there's nothing wrong with that either. No, nothing wrong with that.
So I think it's important that we do realize, especially all kinds of things going on for people around the world, we do need hugs, but just be mindful of how you're doing it.
150%. I think, again, Dr. JACALYN, everything is about, we've been talking earlier before the show kicked off about people being more self-aware in everything that they do, and how they can, make a difference to one another by just being a little bit more patient, a little bit kinder, a little bit more thoughtful, and making it about the other person. And, I think you asked a really interesting question earlier. Is it appropriate to ask someone if you can give them a hug? And I think even with a stranger, if you could see that they're having a pretty rough day and you can see they're teary or just feeling a little bit lost, hey, go up to them and say, hey, are you okay? Can I give you a hug just to give you that little bit of a lift and a boost? I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but don't use an excuse to go around hugging people because all of a sudden you've got a hidden agenda. I genuinely mean that in the sense of, let's check in on one another. And recently I had the privilege of spending some time in the USA, or just the BVI, and there was a gentleman who I had the privilege of meeting, Mark Brackett. He is the director of Yale Center of Emotional Intelligence, and it's about a permission to feel. He wrote this incredible book, Permission to Feel, and the power of emotional intelligence to achieve well-being and success. And I just really think, taking it just beyond the hug, do we check in with one another? Hey, how are you feeling today? And really put that question out to someone. How are you today? Is very different to how are you feeling? What are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? And when you give people permission to share that with you, it can really help them just share with you that moment that they feel that they can really offload or express that emotion and that feeling.
That really resonates with me. I love that. How are you feeling today? That's
How are you feeling? And genuinely, not hey, how are you feeling today? And then you flip to the next question. Genuinely, if you say to someone, how are you feeling today? Pause. It's going back to your wonderful listening skills, that element of interaction with someone. We're going to ask someone how they're doing, or how the weather is, or whatever it is. Be very much prepared to engage in the answer and be patient with what comes back to you.
Philip, I'm really thrilled that we talked about hugging. I want to take it to a little bit of a different level with the rest of the time that we have left today. And of course, this is a PG rated show. So I want to talk about the kiss, from the air kiss to the very romantic kiss. I think that there's some kind of confusion in this area as well, especially if you start dating someone and you're thinking it's a first date, you're going to get a kiss on the cheek and they go in for the kiss and then it's a kiss that you didn't expect. Is there any etiquette when it comes to kissing?
Definitely. Okay, so the kiss on either cheek it must be consensual. It must be both parties happy to do that. I gave you the example of someone, if they are some presumptuous to think they can come in, they've met you once before, now the next time they meet you, they think they can come in for a kiss. That's where I hesitate as a man. I would always put my hand, how are you? And if they come in, they're showing a little bit of body language, they're going to lean in for a kiss on either cheek, then that's the cue. It's been a long time since I went on a first date. Well, maybe, no, I'm teasing. But again, going back to the sort of protocol, the etiquette behind that, again, don't be overly presumptuous. I think, well, I know for a fact, this is this can go into quite a deep answer because it's actually quite a deep question, is everything's to do with our body language, the engagement, how has the evening unfolded or the lunch unfolded or whatever's unfolded. Is there a chemistry? Is there a show of, the body language sort of connecting with one another, just through the way we behave, the way we act, the way we lead into a conversation. And I would almost go down the route, I know this might sound a little bit old-fashioned, is, may I give you a kiss goodnight? And that kiss goodnight, maybe the lady lends a cheek, or maybe it becomes a little bit more of a cozier type of kiss. But that's a tricky question to answer in a few words, Dr. JACALYN. And again, it's the lady's prerogative. I don't think anyone should feel that because they've had a nice evening with someone that they need to end off by giving a big sort of, kiss on the lips and that sort of thing.
I hope everyone's listening out there.
Ask permission sometimes. Hey, I've had such a great evening. I'd just love to give you a really lovely kiss goodnight. Is that okay with you? And might be, if that's if there's no, it's either a yes or no, or maybe a flirtatious maybe. Who knows the situation? But maybe making it a little bit more fun and sort of giving the other person a little bit of that little fumbly feeling in the stomach and a little bit of the old butterflies.
Let the butterflies out. Yes, for sure.
Absolutely.
I think it would be great if we spent the rest of our time together. I'd love to just walk through your website and show people the various offerings that you have. How would you feel about that?
Absolutely. Look, we're in the throes of revamping our website because we would like our website to be more directly or correlate more with people's wants, needs, and desires and pain points, in the sense that we're going to break it out into more the corporate areas, and then more the sort of children areas, and more the sort of teens, and then adult programs and courses. So we are literally in the, I don't know when the new launch date is going to be, but yes, please, by all means, do go through and bring it up for the viewers to engage with.
Absolutely. And websites are a constant state of work, right? This is something that we really just we're working on all the time.
Absolutely. And there's all our accreditations as an organization just below that lovely picture. You know, we are, again, the organization that are the front runners in becoming accredited as an organization in our sector and industry, which has led the way for other organizations to become more professional and become accredited, which is just great. And it's nice to be a trailblazer.
There's some big names here as well. So for people who are listening, we've got BBC Radio London, the Wall Street Journal. I mean, this Investors in People, the Institute of Leadership and Management approved. This is incredible, Philip.
Yeah, and you know, again, I think we're a little bit modest in our approach. We could put down some of the brands we work with, which we again will be on the new website. Brands such as Cartier, Dunhill, Alfred Dunhill. We've worked with Four Seasons. We've worked with brands out there that are really very, very dynamic in various different hotel groups, and so those will be featured on the new website in the few months to come.
And Philip, you know, you are very modest, because I didn't know from you directly. I just saw from photographs, but you have been with some of the most famous people in the world. And what have those experiences been like? If you want to drop any names, or just tell us, what's it like when you're with royalty or with A-list celebrities?
Dr. JACALYN, that's, you know, it's a good question, because I'm not. It's funny, I often have to ask Kerry, who, you know, reads the odd magazine, and who's this person, and even down to who a sporting personality might be sometimes, or musician or actor. But I do, look, it's humbling to meet great people who have achieved a huge amount, that are global in their so-called, you know, their reputation hopefully precedes them in a good way. But it's wonderful. It's obviously a privilege to get to meet and rub shoulders and share ideas, thoughts, and content. Because again, when you speak to people who've really achieved and been successful in their acting career, for example, or let's, for example, look at when it was Prince Charles, now the King of England. I've had the privilege of spending quality time with him on numerous occasions back in, trying to think, in 2008, 2007, 2008. We were working on a couple of projects that he was the patron of. You learn so much from their journey and from their experience, and from what they want to share with you. And they're also tend to be quite forthcoming in opening up to your questions, which is wonderful. And yeah, so some of the celebrities that I've had the privilege of working with or being engaged with is John Travolta, Mel Gibson, Christine Brinkley, Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, they're just some incredible characters out there. And who's the bad boy from Two Men and a Boy, or what's his name? Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
He is an absolute beauty and a character as well. So there's, you know, and also meeting, you know, musicians from some crazy sort of real rock bands and that sort of thing, which has been a joy. And again, not only to listen to them, but them asking questions about how they can maybe polish themselves in specific areas. So yeah, it's something maybe we should shout out more about, and maybe it's something that the team needs to look at, just again to sort of, I think, highlight the journey that the British School of Excellence has been on over the last 10 years.
I think that would be great. I think we could also have an episode on when you go to a concert, or if you're invited backstage to a special event, you stand there screaming and yelling, "Ah, can I have your autograph?" So we can talk about that. But let's go back to the website for now, because I think there's some really important things to share here. So you've got this upcoming course, Train the Trainer. It's October 16th through the 20th. Who's this for, and what can they expect the outcome to be?
Well, again, that is our flagship, and we've got at least half a dozen people now showing great interest in signing up. We've had 2 people pay their deposits for the October program. And that is a 5-day program, and it is literally 7 to 8 hours each day. So it is incredibly intense. You've got to be committed. You've got to take that time off, and we will give you absolutely everything. I always start a program by saying, I want you to look at this course and this opportunity like a sponge that is full of water, and you're going to wring every single drop out of that sponge. And in that Train the Trainer, we really do go through the tools that you need as a coach and a trainer. So we do coaching and training tools, as in skill sets that you require to be that very dynamic, very inspirational, very motivational person, and giving people those tools to make a change in their lives. That's the one side of the coin. We then go through business setup. We go through the importance of your social media and all the aspects that would complement you going forward, either into your own business or working with people in your organization, or whatever that might be. Then we obviously take you down the journey of all the aspects of dining etiquette. We go into networking etiquette. We go into social etiquette. We go into business etiquette and business excellence. We then go into the importance of posture, body language, the importance of presentation, and how do we show up every day in what we wear, the attire, how important color is for your complexion and what best suits your complexion. We go into product trees, how you can bolt on other products to complement your organization. In other words, we can't do everything. Also, you bring in partners, or you bring in someone under your umbrella to deliver, let's say, for example, a resume or CV writing program. It could be someone who comes in and discusses nutrition with your students. It could be someone who comes in and discusses how important hair and makeup are, or anything pertaining to the industry and sector you're in. And this gives you an amazing opportunity and carte blanche to spread your wings and really focus on what you as an individual can bring to the party. So what's really important about the credentials of Train the Trainer, I love the fact that people bring their experience and their background, and you do not have to have any experience in coaching and training whatsoever. You bring your past experience, and we give you the tools how to bring your past experience to life through storytelling, through letting people know that you've been there, you've done that, or you've been tripped up in your life and you've turned your life around because you incorporated this tool, that tool, and this tool, and now you're soaring like an eagle. So you're really sharing your authentic self. We to the room as well. And there's so much more that we deliver in that Train the Trainer. And it is an accredited program. It's internationally accredited, it's globally recognized, and off the back of you doing your assignment, your assessment, and various different things that we asked you to do for the program, you will become an accredited coach in etiquette, manners, and following into emotional intelligence.
And walking the walk with so many other graduates who are doing amazingly well, as we talked about in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface with what I just shared there. It opened up to a whole plethora of opportunities.
Okay, as we close out, tell us a little bit about some of these other opportunities that we see here on the screen.
Absolutely. Again, courses for adults, they can be bespoke, they can be put together for your wants, needs, and desires, and to give you that ability to put your best foot forward. We do the e-learning side of things. So for anyone who wants to see what we're about, low barrier to entry pricing, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, and you can go to our e-learning section of the website, download the core life skills, download the dining etiquette, download the children's course. There are about 5 or 6 courses in the pipeline that will be launched onto the new website, which I'm hugely excited about. Obviously, Train the Trainer, and then teenagers. So with teenagers, we've got mindset and confidence, mindset and resilience, and mindset and money. We've got the polished student, which is again, or should I say the polished student. Then we've got the polished graduate, leaving university, going into work, and then the polished professional, which is our business etiquette and business excellence program. And again, courses for children, we can bespoke courses for children. But for example, today, we have a beautiful young lady who's 10 years old. Her mum is based in Malaysia with her family. They're Chinese living in Malaysia. And I've been working with this lovely little young lady. Her mum's booked 6 half-hour sessions. And funny enough, today was on judging. So here in my notes, just to give you an understanding, they've just started school in Malaysia, and there's already a challenge. One of her friends is trying to influence her not to like a new student. And this goes obviously totally against the grain. So with this little girl, I shared with her the journey of about how do we pause, how do we use our 6-second rule, how do we not judge a book by its cover. I showed her an amazing video of a moment where someone misjudged someone horribly wrong. And then we bring emotion and feeling into that. For example, I said to her, Mary, how would you feel if you went to a new school and someone said, oh, you've got Chinese eyes and you look different to us and you're funny looking? How would it make you feel? And then I'm just giving you little snippets. And then I said, if your friend told you to put your head in the fire, would you do that? And really leaving her with some very serious food for thought. Off the back of that, then I would obviously send the mum a message to let her know what we've covered, and just to make sure that mum is reiterating and complimenting what her daughter would have been exposed to on this particular course. So again, our organization is not, I don't want anyone to ever think of this as etiquette and manners. This is very much about building great, wonderful human beings. It is about building confidence. It's about making that change in our lives. And for the parents out there, it's the old adage in life, children learn what they live. And for those of you who've watched various shows with us, I've recited that beautiful poem from Dorothy Law Nolte on numerous occasions. Please go back and have a look at some of those shows where we've really given you the tools on how to really engage and build your youngsters in this world.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And please do go over to the BritishSchoolOfExcellence.com. We do have a couple of comments from a graduate, a testimonial live here as we are today. So, Philip, do you know this wonderful person?
Ah, wonderful, Etiquette. Here's an amazing young lady who is based in Italy. That's not her hometown at all, her home country at all. A person who's just worked dramatically hard on herself, and Etiquette has really jumped out of the airplane and built her parachute on the way down, and has started to deliver some programs and some courses. She's incredibly active on the alumni platform, and is just a great human being who really does have this drive and passion to help as many people that come into her life as possible.
Thank you, Etiquette, for being here today and for commenting. We really do appreciate it. Philip, we're about to close out, and here in the States, we are going into a holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend. I know you just had a bank holiday there. You just had your birthday. So anything that you want to share on an upbeat, joyous level as we approach the weekend? Of course, for our friends in New Zealand and some parts of Australia, I believe they're already into the weekend.
You know, I'd love to share something with you that came across my desk the other day, and it goes along the lines of: a teacher gave a balloon to every single student who had to inflate that balloon, and they wrote their names on that particular balloon, and then they threw them all into the hallway. We're talking about 50 kids. And the teacher then mixed up those balloons, ran through them, and the balloons, as you know, balloons light and they go up in the air. And the students were then given 5 minutes to try and find their own balloon. And as you can imagine, the frenzy of all these kids running around and trying to find their balloon. And at some point, the teacher then says, okay, stop, pick up a balloon. Okay, pick up the first balloon that you find and hand it to the person whose name was written on that balloon that you picked up. And within 5 minutes, everyone had their own balloon. And I think the whole outcome of this, the teacher said to all the students, was, these balloons are like happiness. We will never find it if everyone is looking for their own. But if we care about other people's happiness, we'll find ours too. And I think that really leaves us to enjoy a really blessed and wonderful weekend. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to other people, be gentle, and always have a what can I do for you attitude when it comes to engaging with other people. How can I help you? How can I support you? What can I do for you?
Philip, I love that analogy of the balloon. I'm going to remember that. What's the best way for people to reach out to you, and who would you like to contact you?
The BritishSchoolOfExcellence.com. Hello at the BritishSchoolOfExcellence.com. I love working on WhatsApp, and that's +44 780 885 9914. Anyone and everyone out there who just would like to have a chat, engage, find out more about what we could offer you, do for you, please do engage. It would be an absolute joy and a privilege to have some time together.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Philip, for your time. And I look forward to chatting with you over the weekend, hopefully. And looking forward. We also have another comment as we close out from Dolly. Happy birthday. Thank you both. Thank you, Dolly. Hello, Dolly, shall we say. One of my favorite movies. All right. Bye, Philip, for now. We'll see you later.
Big virtual hug to you, Dr. JACALYN.
All
right. And to all the listeners, thank you so much. Lovely to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye for now. Please do reach out to Philip. His program, his school is world class. As I mentioned at the very beginning, the people who've walked through those doors at the British School of Excellence are the top in their industry. And I personally am watching them flourish. I'm seeing what's going on with their businesses from when they took the program to where they are today. It's truly amazing. And it can happen for you too, but you have to take action. Go over to the website, thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Don't be afraid. Take this step. We're coming into the fourth quarter of 2023. What a great opportunity for you to expand your knowledge, your growth, and for you to become an etiquette coach or to take the power of etiquette and manners and bring it into your own life for deeper connections and better relationships. So we're going to close out now with a sponsorship from the British School of Excellence. We appreciate them and we appreciate you for watching. We'll be back shortly with Talking Heads. Thanks for now. This program is brought to you in part by the British School of Excellence and founder, Mr. Philip Sykes. Building confidence, changing lives. Do you share our view that etiquette is a set of modern life skills that are essential for personal and professional success? Join us as an etiquette coach and change people's lives through the power of etiquette and manners.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had a trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I found I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I have made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school, this class is the best, this is the best school ever.
You should take it. It will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BSC.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to our clients for their testimonials on the Train the Trainer program. Our exponential and global growth is so significant that we've evolved from the British School of Etiquette to the British School of Excellence, where we're investors in people. Let us invest in you and your career. Contact us to become an etiquette coach. Go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Start your career and elevate your success today.